Hey folks, normally I do not do back-to-back market updates unless something particularly unusual has happened. Well, by now I'm sure you've read at least something out there about all this unusual activity going on with GameStop and what's being pitched as individual investors bringing a professional hedge fund to its knees with literally $3 billion loss after it shorted the video game retailer stock. What were they thinking? So what is a short? Let's start with that, you may be wondering. A short is when a share of stock is sold with the intention of buying it back at a cheaper price. It's akin to selling your house to someone that, will pay full market value because you think your house is overvalued up here and you plan to buy it back after the market plunges. And in the case of GameStop, the people shorting it sold more stock than actually existed to be traded, aka the float, as they call it. Not something you drink, it's the amount of stock out there. At which point, individual investors in a chat room literally bought up these shares and held them and sent the stock skyrocketing, which caused hedge funds and other investors significant losses. Because of those losses, the hedge funds had to sell off shares of winning companies, sending them down, which also sent the indices down. Now, do short squeezes happen all the time? The answer is yes. Are they always this big? No. But this is not the very first time we've ever seen this situation. And although it's been a while, and I have no dog in this fight, but my opinion is that GameStop, as it was at least, was a failed business. No matter how high their stock goes temporarily, as someone who spent the majority of the last 21 years with the stock markets, it does concern me, however, when it appears that there is outright speculation and unabashed manipulation of the markets taking place on a daily basis. Now, that's not to say that Wall Street isn't also manipulating. Personally, I believe it happens all the time. But this is the first time people can remember a community of citizens sticking it to Wall Street with so much media coverage. So what I am interested in, though, is how many of those individual investors who were actually where they had their hedge fund managers using maybe perhaps the chat board to wage war on their brethren. Only time will tell, but I don't think that I'm that far off. And of course, by the time that all the details are known, the media will have moved on from this little David versus Goliath and the evil hedge fund story. One thing that has become apparent in this, however, is that there is a large group of people that have been getting stimulus checks and are reading Reddit. And with the availability of zero commission trades, they're making a bet much more than an actual investment. And of course, I'm the last person who will ever criticize someone for gambling. I mean, I'm the first person in line at Keeneland every spring and fall. Doors open, here we go, let the trumpets sound. So I'll let someone else cast the first stone at the folks that were buying GameStop. But there is a big difference between this kind of speculation versus investing in a stock based on the actual merits and real growth opportunities of that business within the marketplace and planning to hold that stock for years and then reaping the profits as a shareholder of that business through dividends and whatnot. That's what investors are doing with their hard-earned money to delay gratification and pay for college and buy a home and save for a rainy day or perhaps a boat and create a retirement paycheck. And long term, that is what the market affords everyone, regardless of how much money you have. So what we've seen here over the last couple of weeks is outright speculation. Nothing has actually changed in the value of GameStop as a business entity or AMC, the failed movie theater company. They're not growing or buying back shares. As a long-term investment, they've been absolutely terrible. But in the last few weeks, they've proven to be great speculations. Typically, speculative bets made on companies with no significant growth tend to end poorly. And that's not advice, that's just history. Now, the question becomes, do I have a problem with all this? And the answer is absolutely not. It's just like speculating on property, a lot perhaps, or a lottery ticket, or Garbage Pail Kids and Beanie Babies. We've all been there before. But let's be sure to call it what it is. These people are not great investors. They're not the next Warren Buffett. They're speculators, and like those who went west for the gold rush, this will eventually end as well. Wall Street will adjust to where the edge is, and the edge that's been benefiting from the speculators will disappear. And what I hope is that while this phenomenon runs its course, the speculators don't cause damage to those who invested in the markets for the long term. The rug could theoretically be pulled out from underneath our feet, and people could suffer large losses that have nothing to do with the health or the direction of the economy, the stimulus packages that's coming out, the housing boom, etc. All because people decided to participate en masse to speculate and manipulate certain equities on an hour-by-hour and day-by-day basis. And as the industry jargon goes, investor, be warned.